Face unlock failed. At 3 a.m., I heard my phone, which I had left charging in the living room, emit a voice prompt. A chill ran down my spine. I had a habit of charging my phone in the living room before going to bed. Face unlock failed. I heard the prompt again. To better take care of my 80-year-old grandmother, who had mild dementia, I always left the door slightly ajar. At first, I thought there was something wrong with my phone. But soon, I realized it wasn't the case, because I heard someone breathing. Very faintly, but my ears caught it clearly. My heart started racing. Cold sweat slowly dripped down my back. A thought crystallized in my mind. Someone had entered my house. Who could it be? A thief? Or a home invader? Whoever it was, I hoped they would retreat. There wasn't much cash in the house. All my money was in my Apple Pay. The only cash was the $20 I had left for my grandmother today. But obviously, the intruder was still trying to unlock my phone. I tiptoed out of bed and silently pressed against the door, peering out. In that moment, my eyes widened. I saw a tall woman standing in front of the table where I had placed my phone. She leaned forward, bending her body into a strange curve, elongating her neck. And my phone kept repeating the "face unlock failed" prompt. I was so nervous that sweat poured out. I didn't expect it to be a woman. Her hair was long, like unkempt weeds, piled haphazardly on her shoulders, seemingly untouched for a long time. She was wearing a pair of red Mary Jane shoes on her feet, a very old-fashioned style that is rarely seen nowadays. The lock on my house door was secure, and there were no surveillance cameras in the hallway, but there had never been any problems before. How did this woman manage to get in? Then, I saw the bathroom door sway, feeling a faint breeze. Obviously, the bathroom window was not closed. The window of our place faced a public corridor. The woman had crawled in through the bathroom. My grandmother's room was next to mine, and I desperately prayed that she wouldn't need to use the bathroom. But my prayers were not answered. I heard the sound of my grandmother getting out of bed. The woman retracted her stretched neck in an instant, quickly turning her head. I hid behind the door, taking deep, ragged breaths. In that moment, I saw the woman holding a sharp knife in her hand. I was an ordinary journalist, and moreover, I was a weak woman, while my grandmother was already 80 years old. There was no way we could overpower the physically strong woman, and my phone was right in front of her. The door next door opened. I heard my grandmother's unsteady footsteps. In the pitch black, her vision was not very good. Clearly, she saw the woman, but she thought it was me. "Sophie, why are you wearing outdoor shoes so late at night? Did you just come back from work?" I heard my grandmother's voice. In my heart, I was screaming, "Grandma, that's not me. Don't get close to her. Grandma, go back quickly." The woman moved. Though I couldn't see, I heard her footsteps. My grandmother finally realized that the person was not me. "Who are you? Why are you in my house?" Although my grandmother had dementia, the timing of her episodes was unpredictable. Sometimes she was lucid. At this moment, she was clearly very awake. I anxiously clenched my fists. My grandmother was in a very dangerous situation now. The woman was holding a knife. I had to go out immediately to save my grandmother. But at the same time, I found myself paralyzed with fear. Intense terror kept me cowering behind the door. My grandmother continued to ask loudly who the woman was, but then her voice abruptly stopped. In an instant, There was a deathly silence outside. My heart was about to leap out of my chest. Then, I heard my grandmother emit a muffled groan. The next second, I heard the sound of a weapon piercing flesh. Tears welled up in my eyes. My shoulders trembled uncontrollably as I tightly covered my mouth. I knew that she had been killed by the woman. I crouched on the floor, holding my breath. "Don't find me. Don't find me." I kept praying incessantly, but God didn't hear me. I felt the breath coming from above. I looked up and saw the woman's head peering through the crack in the door. She grinned at me, her eyes wide and exaggerated. I could see the bloodshot veins in her eyes like a spider's web. I screamed in terror. The woman raised the knife high and lunged at me. I felt a sharp pain. More thriller book recommendations on Kindle Unlimited. Please subscribe my channel.